Hi, good evening everyone. Welcome to the option of Forex, and today I'll be presenting on, let's see. Right, so today I'll be presenting on a trend-based indicator. Same theme as last week. So last week I was actually presenting based on HMA, so this week I'll actually be presenting based on the SuperTrend. So you can actually find the SuperTrend in, as always, the same link. I should have it in there already. What's it called? Oh yeah, third one from the top. It'll be SuperTrend NRP, means non-repainting, new format alerts. I always love my indicator if they have alerts. I mean, it makes my life so much easier. Having a signal, alert comes in, look at a phone, or even listen through a laptop, and then you can place your trades. Alright, so last week I think I will still maintain my stance that HMA is still fantastic, and obviously, you know, although each pair I've done out of 30 trades, those few that actually managed to hit 10R does help a lot, tremendously. No, but this week I would say it's a bit disappointing. In fact, I would say it's very, very disappointing. Now, I've done a test based on SuperTrend. Same thing, 30 trades. I've leave out one pair. Which pair did I leave out? Yeah, I leave out WTI. Might simply because I don't have enough time to do it. Apologies for that. But even there, I don't see it having good results. Yeah. So ST means SuperTrend. The way that I tested it is still the same. The screenshots below will denote the settings that I used. Yeah, I did not change the settings. I'm using custom settings. Maybe if I change it, I would have better results. But that is another topic for another day. Now, SuperTrend as a whole, I got a lot of stop loss if I trade every signal for the past 30 trades. And overall, for these pairs that I tested, I got a negative 20R. So I got a lot of losing trades. I think more than half are actually losing trades. Then I got break evens. And even for winners, most of them are below 4R. Only one that is 10R. And this 10R is actually given by S&P 500, the greatest trending market in the whole world. I think it's kind of miserable. Now, on saying that, doesn't mean that SuperTrend as a trend filter is useless. No, I don't think so. On its own, if you trade its signal, right? So let me go to the charts. This is how it looks like. Yeah. So this is actually how I tested. Now, please bear in mind, one reason why the even for HMA side or any SuperTrend, one reason why the results are not fantastic at all is because please remember that the stop loss that I use is based on zigzag, the last zigzag. So usually the stop loss are in the realms of thousands of pips. Alright, it's not the way how people usually place their stop loss, as in either the last swing high, which can be in this area, or candle high or low. Yeah, so this is I decided to use a much more objective manner of placing my stop loss, which is based on zigzag value 5 for the depth. Yeah, so as such, most of the stop loss which I have are in the realms of thousands of pips. And in this case, for pound cat, I think it's about 5,000. Really huge. Now, so that explains why majority of my trades I get 1R, 2R, 3R winners. Even if I have a good trend going on, it's kind of hard to hit a kind of high risk to rewards. But there's a price we have paid, or rather I'm paying for being objective. Now, on saying that, doesn't mean that SuperTrend is an absolutely trash indicator to use as a trend filter. No, I don't think so. SuperTrend as a whole, for direction bias, I think is still useful, but not in the same time frame that they are using. So from my testing, what I find is that, look, if SuperTrend does give you a signal to go either long or short, I'm going to use this example, the recent ones. So this candle actually breaks, SuperTrend turns. Even then, if I use that, my stop loss will be like what, 4,000 pips. I think one of the best way to actually use SuperTrend as a trend filter is most people will take the daily time frame as a gauge, as a reference, then it's better for you to zoom down to the lower time frame. I think that is a better way to use, in my humble opinion, I think that is a better way of using super trends. Not on the same time frame as its own. Because the moment you zoom down to the lower time frame, H4 or H1, then the cyclicity will be clear and it's easier for us to actually take advantage of. Not on the same time frame. Yeah. So you can see how nice the cyclicity is on at the moment I drop down one time frame H4. And you can see on the daily time frame, all this part is still bearish. Super trend is, in this case, orange. I want to say red. But on H4, you can see the various movements. So if it does not agree with the higher time frame, then that should probably tell you that, especially for this part, if it does not agree, then we can easily reach a conclusion to say that maybe price is having a consolidation, a range, or is just going a very, very deep retracement and it's not a good idea to trade. And just wait for momentum to agree with super trend, that means using the lower time frame plus the higher time frame to trade. That will probably be a better way to actually jump in. Yeah. So that comes with the usefulness of this indicator because let me see. Alright, that's not really what I wanted to see. Not the one that I've shared. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, this one, the one that I just shared with you, it doesn't have a multi-time frame settings for it. Yeah, so some of the indicators that I shared, it does have the multi-time frame settings, then that will be easier. That means you can actually look at H4. When you're looking at H4, then we are looking at, we can set D1 to take the super trend calculation on. Yeah, but for this particular one which I shared, it doesn't have that function. So on the whole, my personal opinion is that, look, I played super trend in the past, and even then, if I do play it, I would need to be tighter about its calculations. Yeah, the one that comes with default, I think, is a bit too wide. So on its own, some of you may not realize is that super trend is quite an old indicator that's from the past. It is part of a legacy indicator that's from the past, especially stock markets. So this is quite a very simple indicator. Period. So default is 10. What it means is that we are measuring the past 10 candles. That part is easy to understand. The multiplier is what it means is actually a ATR multiplier. Right. So super trend is really about the ATR indicator. So by 4, it means it's multiplying ATR by 4. So it's quite a wide range to actually play about. So if you want to actually trade with super trend, my advice is actually go lower on the multiplier so that it is a bit more sensitive, and it's actually better on the daily time frame. It does react faster. Otherwise, due to the wide multiplier effect, you will miss out a lot of signals and may potentially get in at the wrong part of a trend. Often get in at the wrong part of a trend. Yeah, so that's my advice for using super trends. So this is a very simple indicator, but by no means it is useless. It is just simple. Some people love it, some people hate it. Personally, I have no fondness for it. I don't really like it. I prefer something which is much more sensitive. Yeah. So now, if you guys are going to use super trend as a trading opportunity, you can. But like I mentioned, my advice to using it is to go on to the lower time frame. Yeah. So that means if the daily super trend is orange, is bearish, drop down to the lower time frame and wait for the lower time frame super trend to actually agree with you. So what I meant by that is that, look, I'm going to use this as a particular example. Super trend turned bearish over at this bar, which is about 24th August. Now the moment I drop down to one time frame, this is what I see. You can see that it's actually bearish on this part onwards. But very soon, this is the part whereby I'll be waiting for. I'll interpret this as price is going on a retracement. Once price does its retracement, then that will be my short opportunity. This will be my short opportunity. So I'll wait for a retracement to go on the lower time frame. And once the retracement is done, then that's the part whereby I will get in when the lower time frame super trend agrees with the higher time frame. But this is how I would actually go about doing it. Yeah. Personally, to me, I think there's a better way, a much more straightforward way of using super trend, using confluence from the higher and the lower time frame, not just on its own. I think you can easily do this on H1, 30 minutes or M15. Yeah. So you can see that the vast majority of my super trend testing, I mean, this is by no means conclusive, but the vast majority of my results is on 1R and 2R. Yeah. So what this means is that it may be just for the duration of this, the period that I've tested for the past 30 trades. It means that what I can conclude is that when super trend does change color, usually the first and cycle on the, so that means on D1 when super trend actually change, what it means on H4 is that the first two cycles, the cyclicity is already over. So let's say super trend actually changed to red, right? So on H4, we would see this already. So it's more or less a confirmed trend change on H4. So just wait for the next third cycle to get in. But this is from my own personal observation. I mean, as always, the purpose of this show is actually just to backtest the hell of indicators and see if we can find different combination for it. I have pretty good results from the past. Maybe you can actually look at those results and see you can build something out of it. You know, putting two indicators together to trade, getting good results is not hard. It's the consistency of it that will be hard. But the consistency actually comes from the trader itself. Alright, but there it is. That's the end of my show. If you have any questions, pop it in. I'll try my best to answer based on super trend. Again, I repeat, by no means I think that is a lousy indicator, but in order for it to be truly useful, I think it is better to combine with two time frames. Yeah. So that will be more or less a multi-time frame correlation kind of trading setups. It's far easier to do that. Right? So I've actually shared based on HMA, which is how moving average. This way I covered super trend. 2 weeks later, I will actually be covering one of the more well-known indicators, which is it slipped my mind, the Ichimoku indicator. Yeah, so a specific part of it, not the whole indicator, which is meant for trend trading. Let's see if I can get better results out of it. So with that, thank you for joining me this evening, and I'll be back 2 weeks later. Bye everyone.